and if it comes down to it, Asylum for game number 3. Ryan, as we take a look at District in particular, as we actually hop into our first round, what's your thoughts on this map in particular between both of these teams, considering Rise Nation, this is their map choice?
Yeah, like I said, this is a map that we know the Pittsburgh Knights, like I said, when it comes to these initials, right, they have a lot of fast players, like the guys like Identivs, guys like Des and I to get in there and make a lot of quick plays. And a team like Pittsburgh Knights are very good at getting early numbers and moving quickly. So this map to me is exciting because you're going to see a lot of those opportunities like you're seeing right now where a team gets those early numbers in the initial, doesn't stop, it heads right to the home hill for the trip cap. Seeing a little bit of that right now, Rise Nation getting a couple kills, but as that buzzer starts to sound, can anyone hop on the hill? Will anyone get there in time? Inzem's trying, but they're starting to fall, and that's why I was so excited for this matchup on this map in particular, because both of these teams at any point can just wipe you off the map in trip cap.
And speaking of it, looks like Shock just narrowly manages to make it inside of the C Hill. However, is it all for naught? It seems as if it will. Detox running into a slew of Pittsburgh Knights players, as he'll be taken down, and Pittsburgh already off the break will fire through their first round of hopefully many to come, especially if we want to have a long series. That's a hot 6-0 beginning for Identivs as well, so he'll be in the weapon placement. But something to kind of keep in mind, both of these teams have actually never faced off against each other so far throughout Gears of War 5 in terms of Emergence days. So this is going to be a pretty fun matchup, one that we have yet to watch, and one that I think, as you called it, Ryan, should be so interesting to partake in because we really just don't know how both these teams are going to fare off against one another. Because actually, the only uniting factor that we can take from last week was that both of these teams played off against NRG, right? Pittsburgh Knights, they lose to them 2-1 in round 1. Rise Nation, they take them down in semifinals 2-1. So, like I said, a very kind of close collaboration between both of these rosters. And as you called it, I think at this point, if you were to tell me Rise won, if you were to tell me Pittsburgh Knights won, I really wouldn't be surprised, which I think allows for us to have a very, very interesting series on our plates here.
Yeah, no, two teams that at any point can beat any team in the world. Of course, we've seen, obviously, this kind of new look, Rise Nation looking stronger week to week. And again, we talked about just the pedigree and sort of the legacy of this Pittsburgh Knight team. Of course, former Ghost Gaming and former Splice, et cetera, et cetera. Those guys have also, at any point, can beat any team. Again, a team that I feel like we've forgotten about, but keep in mind we're in, you know, if you look back at the last, 4 majors, we're in two or three of the grand finals, right? So this is obviously an historically very, very good team. So again, it's very fun to watch because of how just so much skill is on both sides.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely be attested to it, is at least off the break. Rise Nation, good start. It looks as if Avexes will fall in the midst of trying to maybe make somewhat of an OE opportunity. In Pittsburgh, they're not done here. They're also hunting for Detox. Identivs hot and heavy off the break as he'll be taken down for his aggressiveness. Pittsburgh going for the contest at B, and it looks as if Monkeys will, in fact, be able to get the cap off as well. The Cavalry will arrive just in time to make sure that he is up, maybe and ready to go. Big shot from Chaos, as that will find the elimination, and it will also bring back his squad mate. 2 versus 1, and Avexes is left in somewhat of an awkward position. Thankfully, though, as we talk about one Cavalry to the next, has some support, but he gets caught out.
Yeah, and he tried to make the decision to get out, but of course you just saw all those blue members just waiting. Of course, that team fire comes through. Pittsburgh Knights, they started out at a deficit, but are starting to regain that lead, and look at Identivs, 8 eliminations, only 1 death. Again, if Identivs is playing on point, this is just such a hard team to beat, as now they're going yet another trip cap. Rise Nation need to hop on that hill. Inzem gets close. I don't think anyone is there for the touch. Good start coming in from the Storm team, but again, this Knights team at any point in time can just wipe you off the map. And on a map like District, a lot of times that can end in a trip cap.
That's a great point. Identivs, as you called it, 8-1 so far. Same thing for Sleeper, a.k.a. PK, as everyone's calling the Pittsburgh Knights as of recently. I'll be honest, it just instantly reminds me of good old Nick Merckx calling out Cypher PK, saying, "Hey, PK, how you doing?"
Reminds me of Ribs, my fellow analyst. Super Smash Bros. As you know, is his other game.
Oh,
and he
yeah.
uses Ness, and Ness has a lot of PK this, PK that, PK Fire, PK Thunder. And of course, you know Jordan, so he's Mr. PK.
I'm excited.
Jordan was also there actually when Reciprocity was playing Rise Nation in the Pro League, and of course Jordan being an analyst at Rise Nation, so we get to have a little bit of heckling in there as Rise Nation, as Reciprocity ended up beating Rise Nation.
Not that that'll stop a bullet or anything.
That was a good time.
Was it?
A lot of good Gears of War people. We were out there celebrating Franchise's birthday.
How old's Fran? I'm just curious.
His 30th birthday.
Really?
Which in Gears of War years is probably like 98. But either way, we were there. I'm not far behind him, so I can't talk much.
I love it. I love the console veteranship. As the Gears of War community is obviously incredibly close, and it's so fun to watch relationships and even players just kind of develop over time. Like I said, Fran, just one of the many amazing personalities of Gears of War. Been around for a very long time, but this round may be thinking the exact opposite. Not around for much longer, as Monkeys may have to make the play. In the meantime, one of his teammates actually will be able to help out with the near dominations, as Pittsburgh will come off of their spawn and be able to at least find one. Unfortunately, their success will not continue, as Monkeys will end up dropping inside of the B hill. Now the contest happens again toward that 50-yard line. Pittsburgh Knights players displaced throughout the map. And it looks as if player number 4 may be wanting to provide some support over at B. Are they thinking for maybe an overextension? That's pretty much what Rise Nation is trying to weed out. Where are the players positioned at from the other end? And Emergence is one of those guys gaining information here.
That comes through. The push is underway now. Emergence in a bit of a tough spot. Monkeys is going to make him pay. Currently a 5v4 situation in favor of the Pittsburgh Knights. Shock looking to defend the C hill. He has a little bit of help from Juice. It's a great start. As he headshots Monkeys over cover now. Like you said, the information's there. They know exactly where they are now. Pittsburgh uses it as an opportunity now to make them move and push over to the hill, or do you make them change their resources and move over to B? They do get one kill, but you're going to see Identivs rotating back over towards middle. 3-5 on Sleeper, but this might be a situation now where Pittsburgh makes Rise shift their resources over to the home hill, kind of try to create an opening for B, but it looks like Rise's defense is there. They build a very big lead. Monkeys is in there for the break, but Drix is there once again to kill that player over cover. That's going to put the B hill back in the Swarm team's favor. Rise is looking poised to take their first round.
You see Monkeys just totally caught off guard, not aware that Drix was still hanging out in Cinema. And unfortunately, he'll pay a 1v1 that goes maybe just a few sequences to, rather a sequence that goes a little bit differently, and maybe we're looking at an opposite round victory. However, Rise Nation will manage to claim their first, as we'll be bound here for the final round of the first half. And like we said, when it comes down to this Pittsburgh Knights team, for those that maybe aren't the most familiar with Gears of War, Rise Nation as of recent has looked absolutely incredible since their roster change and adding Oxygen Supremacy's previous Enzem. Been a massive difference maker for them, as he's been the catalyst which has led them to win championships in Emergence days in Week 6 as well as in Week 8. And like I mentioned, I actually didn't really think about this until doing a little bit of prep before the broadcast started tonight, Ryan. I know I mentioned it kind of in the pre-show as well, but Rise Nation now tied for the second most amount of championships in Emergence days, along with Reciprocity. Reciprocity won in Week 1. They also won in Week 2. NRG in their own right currently sits in that first place category with 3 championships. So this could be an interesting storyline. If Rise Nation get off to a hot start, let's say they take down Pittsburgh Knights, which already will be a difficult task, manage to walk away with this week, they'd be the second team ever to go back-to-back and the second team to reach 3 championships total. That could increase the rivalry with NRG yet again.
Yeah, I mean, the way that the bracket looks right now, they're on different sides that would pit them against each other in the grand finals. Obviously, it's a situation where NRG can really kind of extend that lead, put a little bit of a stranglehold on it. Like I said, Rise Nation's been looking good. I think they've won, what, the last 2 times they played NRG, I believe they have won. So
yes, that's correct, yeah.
Which, you know, a matchup that's currently in their favor. Not a lot of teams can probably ever say that against NRG, right? Have a matchup in their favor. So obviously would be a fantastic series to see, but that would also mean they get the Reciprocity. Like I said, just beat them last week. So a lot of moving pieces there to kind of see who does kind of get to snag that lead when it comes to that championship sort of contest. And right now, as we look over the server, Rise Nation once again getting a hold of that early 2-cap. Pittsburgh once again decision to make. They went for an OE last time, and they're not working right. Maybe do they kind of take that? Maybe even go for some kind of OE fake, right? Push over towards B, or do you just kind of brute force over to B? They do catch a Vexies, though, slipping. They get that down. That's going to probably make the decision for them. It's going to open up the neutral hill. Rise's information, though, you can see they are ready. Two Lancers there waiting. Identivs jumps right over. They're kind of trading off, dancing around to that hill, getting that down. Detox falls as well. Now they're on B, now they're on A. This is all of a sudden flipping on its head, turning into a trip cap. A couple players off spawn, a couple players heading over towards B. Looks like, at least for now, they managed to stay alive.
And for me, the big decision there that goes through is that massive 1v1 that Sleeper ends up getting on Rise Nation. He wins the 1v1, and from there, that pretty much separates the spawn of Rise Nation to where they have to instantly send players to B, and they instantly have to send players over toward A, which causes so many problems and allowed for Pittsburgh Knights, at least in that particular moment, to have, at the very least, a mental advantage. Nice shots from Reigns as Shock managed to take down the very crafty Sleeper up to this point, keeping in mind that Rise Nation, despite the issues that I was alluding to, still do hold on to the hill advantage. However, that quickly could start to change up. You see player number 1, Identives, the man who's been so hot so far throughout the series, is maybe depending, or rather debating, on a rotation to join alongside his teammates here over at B, or like I said, that OE opportunity could be there. Pittsburgh, they're gaining some info, trying to realize how many players from Rise are inbound. And you see they're so far pushed up kind of toward those 2 spawn hills. Now they're just trying to toy with the emotions. Here comes the flashes. Sleeper, he's blind. No vision whatsoever, and actually jumps up. Identives, he'll be caught in the crossfire. Sleeper goes down as well, and there goes Dezo. Wonderful play coming in from Rise Nation as they will hold the advantage. Keep in mind, Pittsburgh, in the midst of all those fights going down, they managed to cap B. However, they do not have the man count advantage. 1 versus 2. Chaos, can he hold on? He cannot.
Good defense by Rise Nation coming on both sides of the map. There's not much Pittsburgh can do at this point. That's not going to be put on 0 out of 4 spawns. A couple kills coming through right now. Is it going to be enough? A couple members of Rise actually quickly fall. Right?
Well,
Look, they were in perfect position to win. That all of a sudden becomes 3 dead. Just like that, Landon, they're on the hill.
They are.
Rise, and they're collapsing. Inzem comes through. They're off spawn. Rise has plenty of time to work with. They just need 1 hill cap. Looks like they're going to end up getting it, but I almost was forced to eat my own words in a matter of seconds. It looked like everything was, life was great, life was sweet, and then a couple kills here, and they're on the home hill. And
yeah.
Whew, at the end of the day, Rise Nation does get the round, but that got very, very close at the wrong time.
It did. We were giving a lot of props, like you said, to Rise Nation there, but Pittsburgh Knights, they made it close at the end, to say the least. A few different situations, and we're looking at a 3-1 half. Regardless, though, evening things up at 2-2. And if you're Rise Nation, that's massive, too. Obviously, it is the first of 5 rounds. You're looking at a 3-1 scoreline after the first half. You're saying, guys, this is our map choice. And if they were to go down coming into the second half, then you're looking at a 4-1. I mean, just a lot of different things going on. Like I said, Rise Nation, they feel comfortable on District. They've looked great on it as of recently. So we'll see if they can keep up that same level of play coming into the second half. Pittsburgh Knights, they've looked great up to this point, and boy, could they use a map 1 victory, considering that Icebound will be up next. Fights breaking down off the rip here for the new mid-hill over at E. Chaos doing some damage as he'll drop Detox. Great communication and great overall slaying coming through from the Knights there. That's 4
dead right now, of course. We are on the long spawns. The second half has just started. Brix has to dance around, keep himself alive for his team as long as he can. He ends up falling. New players off spawns, but no one's actually hopped on the neutral hill. That should give Rise Nation a good amount of time as you see them coming off spawns. So Pittsburgh Knights need to almost get an entire second wiped to keep this alive. Someone is on the E hill. Rise needs to get not just a touch, but a full break. Pittsburgh Knights almost had a little bit of a blunder there. Someone does rotate over, grabs that hill. They do a great job of defending the players off spawn. Take back that lead. Quick 56-second round. And again, these long spawns, these 2 teams in particular, can just wipe you out. And the second they wipe you, they move at the speed of light and almost instant transmission over to your home hill.
And that just kind of goes to show you, too, whenever you do face off against the Pittsburgh Knights in round 1, you can never take them lightly, despite what their average placement might be, despite the fact that they've only currently, at this moment, have gotten 1 championship in Emergence days here in Gears of War 5. And I think a lot of teams wouldn't take them lightly, but just in general from a fan's point of view, if you are someone who follows the statistics behind the Emergence Days Invitational, you can never count out a roster like this. For moments like that, I mean, how many teams can really put the full Nelson on Rise Nation the way that Pittsburgh just did? And they've done it twice up to this point, considering that 2 out of the 3 rounds that they have gotten have been under, or rather sub 50 seconds. Give these guys a chance and they'll make you pay for it. These initials, a big swing round coming into play. Rise, a much needed victory as Shock, of course, affected by his own grenade. And I say his own in terms of the names, not his actual one that he threw. Still looking to do some damage. Looks if he will manage to go for the rush, trying to drop Chaos. Not going to happen as of yet, as both of these 2 look to puff out their chest. And just as that happens, Rise Avexes comes in and allows for that cap to be possible. Good work coming through from Rise, utilizing their number advantage and pushing the issue.
See Identives Catches Shock misrolling. He's taking a very low health. He's able to connect. He's going to fall, so currently numbers are actually going to favor the Pittsburgh Knights. It's going to force Detox back. You can see Chaos and Sleeper pushing right forward. A great 2v1. That should give them back that neutral hill, so Rise Nation builds a little bit of a lead. That could be over before you know it. Dezenite comes right behind Inzem. Inzem turns around, makes him pay. On the other end, Drix has secured that F hill, so a bit of just a double home hill setup potentially coming through for Rise Nation. Chaos tries to fight off Inzem. Couple members are going to start to fall for Rise. Looking to get their home hill back. Chip away at this lead that Rise has. They do it obviously very quickly. As this middle fight ensues once again, it continues to be the Knights that in these kind of team fight situations are coming out on top. Oh, and a bit of a whiff there, I would say, as Shock at least takes one out before falling. But as the dust kind of settles, it is going to be the Knights after a very, very back and forth fight. They do come away with the neutral hill and are about to take the lead.
Inzem's been spotted out. Rise Nation, the farthest pushed up player. Actually, excuse me, not the farthest pushed up player. That would be Sneaky Drix over at Cinema toward the top side of the map. As Rise, they've got 3. Now pushing forward. Inzem stunned and flashed out of his mind. Can barely even think about what's about to occur, but makes it happen regardless. 2 versus 1. The knife inbound. Identivs manages to get the kill on the down player. And Rise, they'll walk away with the advantage at the end of the day.
Yeah, very chaotic fight going down in Bandstand. Rise Nation makes a good push. Identifies kind of, there's only 2 members there. Took their numbers right over. End up winning that fight. And now they're kind of in the same position, right? Pittsburgh Knights had a little bit of a lead. That can very quickly be erased. You see at the top of your screen, the Swarm team is in position to win with this current 2-cap. Now, if you're the Knights, kind of a little bit of a last-minute decision to make, right? Do you make that final push at E? You know they have a setup, right? And obviously, setups being so important as the game develops, as teams get better with their teamwork. Sure, we're trying to maybe catch them off guard, start to get those breaks, but they got to make a decision quick, right? Rise Nation have just taken the time lead back, so Pittsburgh either has to win a fight and then hold a 2-cap, very quickly, or get a couple of breaks at the same time. And if you Rise, you're still eating this alive, right? They haven't even hopped on the hill yet. The fight is underway. Teams getting kills on both sides. Monks ends up getting the full breakthrough. That could be helpful, but looks like Pittsburgh will not end up with a single hill to their name. Rise just needs 1 quick cap, and that will be the round. So to me, that push came just a little bit too late. And again, we knew this one would be close. Rise ended up tying it back up 3-3. That's also 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, Rise Nation as of late doing big things, and we'll see if they can kind of keep that in bound. Like we said, this is their map choice. You'd like to see them do damage early on versus a very difficult Pittsburgh Knights team. Keeping in mind that Pittsburgh, while they did end up losing in round number 1 last week, it was in fact to NRG. They ended up taking Icebound 5 rounds to 1. NRG from there would later take Exhibit and Vaskar at both a 5-1 scoreline as well. That was a fun series to watch. But also, at the same time, a very interesting, because we were constantly talking about it. I think our first round had, I forget what our other first round series was, but every single one of those games was 5-4. And then the other side, every single map in the other series was 5-1. So it's just back and forth. You never really know what to expect when it comes down to our teams in Gears of War, at least in terms of the Emergence days. But they always provide an interesting storyline. As the break off, the initial already here and in full force. Chaos maybe thinking someone's a little bit closer than originally. As Inzem's receiving some bullets, Pittsburgh, at least for the time, having 2 just outside of Bandstand, which will give Rise the overall player count advantage. And Inzem being a big piece. They have the utility. They're currently gaining some time here. We'll see if they can break it off.
And the player I'm looking out for right now is definitely Identivs. You hear him charging up that M-bar. He's been such a strong M-bar player in the past, right? He can make so many kind of openings for this team, create so many opportunities with that power up and play. And you see them dancing around E, and they're almost going to push him. And he was there. He was waiting. Unfortunately, did miss the shot. His teammates are there for the trades.
When Shock will sacrifice his life, you saw he was trying to go for the timing of which that M-bar has to charge up. In the meantime, Identivs, he tries to make his way through. Thankfully, he'll receive back in shelter. And Detox will fall. Pittsburgh Knights, despite a 2 versus 3, they were successful in the last 2 fights. Impressive performance up close, despite not having man count advantage. It does not matter so far for the Knights. Flashes out, Dezenite can yet to see a thing, but Monkeys will be there for the assistance in taking down Drix. It's E in their hands. It's also D in their favor, and now Rise Nation off of spawn. They're just trying to stay up right now. They're just trying to make sure this round can continue to be competitive. Because at least off the rip, they have not looked like that, and Idenev's his 29th of the game. Imbar, ready to go still.
Yeah, there's no more bullets. I think he's waiting to get that new fresh ammo. His teammates still doing a great job. You're going to see Detox just getting absolutely swarmed on the other end. Looks like Sleeper's getting pushed a little bit, going to back off, and you're going to see Idenev's just quickly rotate right over to help his teammate. Yet another 2v1. Well executed by the Pittsburgh Knights, kind of taking a stranglehold of this round as you take a quick look at some of these respawns. Idenev sitting on one. On the other end, Inzem dies while he has one. So now a situation where he has to make a decision, right? Do you spawn back in, or do you maybe save those respawns for future rounds? Trixie ended up falling as well, and I don't think Inzem's going to choose to spawn back in here. I think they're going to all choose to kind of chalk the round up. Obviously, they're almost at the 200-point mark. They have both hills. They have a good setup, and you can see Rise Nation make that decision, and now it was kind of a big swing round, Landon. Yeah. Pittsburgh Knights, on their opponent's map pick, have an opportunity to kick this series off with a 1-0. That would be very, very big. And again, you kind of saw, despite not getting a bunch of kills with it, you could see the way Idenev's used the M-bar to scare Rise off the home hill, right? He had a good line of sight there, and you could see they tried to kind of get in their dance around. That's kind of even why Shock died, trying to neutralize it. So while he didn't get kills with it, it still had an impact, and that's probably why you see them go ahead and lock the thing right down.
Smart call, to say the least. Pittsburgh, unfortunately, will not have the M-bar to rely on this time. But like you said, their ability to kind of utilize their numbers around Bandstand was impressive. A 2 versus 3, not at all in their favor. And yet every single player for their side managed to stay up. Initials inbound yet again, possibly for the final time here on District. For map number 1, Shock trying to get involved in the fight. Everybody hanging around the fountain, and it looks as if Shock, just around the corner, drops one of the first, and many more to come possibly, as Pittsburgh Knights, a haymaker felt off the rip, and Monkeys can barely toss the flash out before his feet fall from underneath him. A near domination attempt off the break, but Idenev's is not happy with it. He'll just narrowly manage to get a toe inside the hill. Rise Nation feeling the pressure, may decide to back off of this, but no, they're still winning the fights. They're still seeing the dominance. And a lovely 2-piece from Detox, a third for good measure. That was 4 in total. And speaking of 4s, that will be Rise Nation evening this map count out, or round count, at 4-4. Let's watch this again. Ryan, what did we just witness here?
We just watched Detox smoke an entire team on that home hill. Look at him just wall bouncing back and forth. Side bounce chunk, side bounce chunk. What a play coming in. And now you got to think about this last round, Landon.
Oh, yeah.
The momentum, right? You know he's feeling himself. You know how many let's goes probably just flew through that Discord. And now as we sit here at 4-4, all of a sudden I feel like the wind was just taken out of this map. And we're sitting there gassing Pittsburgh. Now you got to be thinking, man, you got to be looking at Rise now, who also just put an M-bar themselves.
Oh, man, this is going to be a very fun round number 9. Who's going to walk away with our first map? Idenev's Shock from either side, and Inzem has taken down Sleeper for the first pick. You know how aggressive either of these sides want to be, especially in that initial. Flashes out. Dezenide desperately trying to keep his life, and he does not. Misrolls, and Inzem, he'll make him pay. The young gun finding the first 2 kills off the rip and being all the difference. And that will allow for Rise Nation to get the cap on E. Pittsburgh, they're losing player after player in the mid-round. And by that being the case, they're now left to reference back, and Pittsburgh, that is not at all what you wanted to see, at least off the rip here.
Yeah, now with both teams having an M-bar, just makes holding that setup that much easier, right? Of course, the M-bar, just a little bit of damage, leaves them wide open to get a full kill. If you're the Pittsburgh Knights, obviously we've seen a couple rounds now, right, where Rise Nation has built a setup, built a lead, and done a great job defending it. So now I'm looking at, so we keep referencing the M-bar, maybe Idenev's using that weapon. He has 1 bullet left in the chamber, using that to create some kind of opening, be some kind of catalyst. Unfortunately, though, there's another one on the other side.
Yeah. Got to be aware of it. Have to be super careful. 1 shot in the chamber. How does he make it land? Like I said, this would be for the pick. He sees Avexes, obviously gets tagged.
And both sides pretty healthy on respawn economy as well. Yeah. So this has potential to be potentially a long-winded round as start to see some of the early team fire come in. Sleeper is going to be dropped. Haven't seen a revive just yet. Inzem is going to go there.
He gets flashed. He gets flashed.
He ends up falling though. Desna hits a full spread. Can he follow it up? one more pellet, one more shot will do it. That's going to be Inzem dropping, but Dezenide is getting hit from all angles. I don't think he knows there's an M-bar right behind him of Vexies. That's going to connect. As we near the 200-point mark, things are looking good. If you're a fan of Rise Nation, they still have the 2-cap. The push comes to the middle of Vexies. Yet another M-bar kill. Monkey's going to drop. They go for the break. But the team fire continues to come through for Rise Nation. Pittsburgh Knights need to make a massive play. Otherwise, this will be a comeback and a 5-4 in the Swarm team's favor.
It's looking like it's possible. Pittsburgh, they managed to get the cap on E. Keeping in mind that's what they have to do at this point. They have to make the rush. They need to go for Rise Nation's home hill. Monkeys, the pressure on his shoulders, getting tagged up as he just tried to make his way inside of the building. He'll be taken down as well. And this is looking all Rise Nation. Pittsburgh, they look so darn good. But Rise come through here in the final 2 rounds and lock this one up as they will take District in a phenomenal and fascinating 5-4 on their map choice of District.
And to me, that last round came down to that first kill right there. I believe it was Inzem getting that first blood early. They kind of gave Rise Nation the opening to grab that 2-cap, and we've just seen all throughout the map how good they were when they got to kind of hold that setup, right? When they got to let Pittsburgh make the decision of where to push, and this is a very, very back and forth map. We knew it would just be an absolute just bloodbath, just chunk fest, everything in between when it comes to these two teams. And Rise Nation, they get it done.
They do.